can see my screen and you can hear me. All right. All right. Thank you. So, before I forget, whether we have classes tomorrow or not, please remember to mark your attendance. Whether we have classes next week or not, please remember to mark your attendance. Next week is the last week, but you still have the grace to keep working on your project. Keep working on them this week, work on them next week. I'm going to send you a link where okay, I'm going to answer that question later. So I'm going to send you a link where you will send your project. I mean, your project URL, that's the GitHub URL, and the hosted render URL. Maybe this week or next week, I'm going to send you that. But so far, we no longer have any assignment anymore. We're done with that. I'm going to find a way to grade milestone 3, and we'll be done with it. Now, for the review of the assignment, a lot of you are doing well. Now, I don't mean you are perfect, but it means that at the rate which you are going, you are doing well. If you continue on that road, you'll be absolutely awesome. But some persons are managing, it's fine, it's understandable, and others have no idea what we're talking about. They just copy and paste it. And the worst part is, why would you be submitting your project with the Google Drive? It means you didn't even run the project in the first place. It also means you have no intention of deploying the project. I've been able to share how to use Git and GitHub. If I haven't, we're going to do it today, but I think we have. I've also shown you how to drag and drop. The drag and drop covers it up. Nobody will know that you dragged and dropped, except you want to push for the second time. The second time, you just create a new repo and push it. So it's very, very important to have GitHub. And having only one repo, only one, you have only one repo and everything is inside. It doesn't make sense now. It doesn't make sense. A lot of persons would want to see your repo. A lot of persons want to see what you have done, and they don't have that. They will just assume if it's only one repo, they will just assume that it is just one thing you've worked on, and that's fine. Secondly, there is a lot of persons have seen your LinkedIn. It's fine, it's good, awesome. Keep doing it. I just hope that you will not get scared when you get a job. Somebody showed me a job application and was asking me, sir, if he is qualified, if I'm going to give him a go-ahead order to apply for the job. Now I know that if for the fact that you are asking me to give you a go-ahead order, it means you are not even ready for the job. You are just asking for a permission that if you get the job, I will be the one to come back and so on and so forth. There's a lady that got a job with a big company in Port Harcourt. The company called me and they said for a job I'll be mentoring her while she's on the job. Now, I understand those parts. I'm also available to talk to anybody, answer questions. But if you now depend on me to get the job, then there's a problem. So if you don't feel like you are ready, it's fine. There's no need to rush it. But this job description, the only thing I saw in that job description is MVC. They didn't talk about anything else. They just mentioned only MVC. And you are feeling like you cannot do it. If you feel like you cannot do, so who's going to do it? Me? It's although I didn't want to answer. So back to where we are. This pay stack is very simple. I don't know why people see that's a big deal. If you pay stack is very simple. I wish you could share your screen so that I walk you through how to do it. But that means that you already have a pay stack account. I said you should create a pay stack account so that we have your secret key and we can use the secret key to run pay stack. Pay stack implementation is very simple. You can finish in less than 1 hour. The same thing with Flutterwave and all of them, GT Bank, AlertPay, all of them. They're the same thing. It's very easy. What else? So today some questions I've gotten. I want to show you guys a few of my repos that I started with while I was the first time initially, a few years ago. These repos you can use. These repos you can use them for persons who are still confused. You can use them. Um, it's not my company now. I'm not the one that got the job. She got the job, and they asked her to enlist a mentor. She put my name there, and they called me. So maybe you should also get your own. It's fine. All right. So one of them is called the RESTful API. I think they are public RESTful API CRUD, RESTful API basic. Yeah, basic. This one. So for persons who are still finding it difficult to perform basic CRUD, this repo is for you. Now, even though it's written with TypeScript, at this point, if you have done my project so far, TypeScript will not scare you. TypeScript is JavaScript, so it's not going to scare you. The project is written in TypeScript, which is what you're going to be writing for any company. But you can also use JavaScript for any company too. But majority of the times it's TypeScript. So this repo is in TypeScript. What do I mean by TypeScript? I'll open the SRC folder. Please, if you can hear me, you're following along, just drop thumbs up so I know that we're not lost. Drop thumbs up. Let me see those who are actually, if I'm actually getting feedback. All right. So if you look here, you will see that my index file is actually index.ts, not index.js. So that is the difference, one difference between JavaScript and TypeScript. So instead of JS, we'll use TS. And if I open the index.ts, it will still be the same thing you know about. But for TypeScript, you can do imports. You don't have to do const require this. You don't have to do that. I don't know why this thing is. I want to keep it better. Yeah. So you can do import if you are working on TypeScript. You can do import statement instead of doing const. So yeah, you can do imports. The same thing with here, setting up our app to run on the Express. We are setting up calls. We're setting up Morgan. Morgan is just like a logger. Any endpoint you visit, Morgan will just display it on the console that you visited this endpoint, and the status code is that and that. So here you use Express body parser, and URL encoded. And I think when you want to talk about images, you might want to add this. You know what? It's fine whether you add it or not. So here is my MongoDB URL, and this is how I connect to MongoDB. Now, because I did this doesn't mean it makes it perfect or professional. No. The only important part is this three part. Every other thing is extra. So mongoose.connect, you pass in the URL, and every other thing is just error handling. And these are my route for handling the route. It comes with API before the route. And I'm setting my port on port 5000, and I'm looking at app listening. So all of these are just the same things we have been writing, but the difference now is written inside a TypeScript file. So you will not be scared of TypeScript if you have been doing the project. But if you have not been doing the project, you definitely be scared of TypeScript. And so that is for that. We can go to other folders. One of the folders I want to go to will be the models, because that's the next important thing after setting up your server. You have your product model. So the product needs a title, the product needs an image, the product needs description, category, and price with a time stamp. And this is the name of the model. It's TypeScript, but I want to believe you know this. So there is nothing here which you've not seen. I'll go back to the SRC folder again. The middleware, I'm going to talk about the validate middleware. Now, this is the part where we check product data to check for title, description, category, and all of this in here. And so this is just me doing a loop. Instead of doing them one by one, I can do the looping and say for const any key in this request. If that key doesn't exist, please pass the error, please add that key. So this is just like a short way of doing it. But you can also keep it like this, small. There are so many ways. Now this one would also work. This one would also work. I think this is why I kept it here. And finally, the main thing, the controllers. Yes, the product controllers. There's a way I write my controllers. I write them as an object. It doesn't mean that you cannot write each one independently. So these are functions. These are functions, but they are all inside an object. The product controller, like an object. So this is to get products, get one product, add product, update product, and delete product. So if I open to get all products, products away.find, return a status code, JSON, and that is it. This is pretty much what you already know. That is if you have done your project. To get one, we're taking in the ID from the params and finding the product from the product model. If there is no product, we are returning a product does not exist. And again, I'm sure you have already seen this, you've done it before. So pretty much this is everything about this RESTful API. Now, if you have any question, you are free to ask your questions now. Is it possible to mix both JS and TS when working on a project? No, it's not possible to mix both. You pick one. If you are now, the thing is this: you can actually write your normal JavaScript inside the TypeScript file. You are not writing anything extra. The only difference is just the name of the file. Instead of JS, you use TS, but it is pure JavaScript. There is nothing you are adding extra, but the name of the file is TS. So you can do that, but you cannot name some files TS and name some files JS. No, you can't mix it like that. But inside TypeScript, you can write your normal JavaScript, nothing extra. But you cannot write TypeScript inside JavaScript. No, you cannot. The TS codes are still essentially exactly. They are just JavaScript. It's not the thing is this: the more advanced you go, the more advanced the type of code you write will become. At this point, you'll be writing normal JavaScript codes, but inside a TypeScript file. The reason why you do that is for the sake of companies. A lot of companies don't joke with TypeScript. Once they hear TypeScript, oh, they like it, they love you already, like that. So you can change that, rename your file. This GitHub I just showed you, this GitHub repo I just showed you now, everything there is JavaScript. They are pure JavaScript. Yes, so you don't have, if you want, you can specify the variable types, but if you don't want, you can keep it normal JavaScript. Nobody will beat you. As a matter of fact, I even tell people, don't use TypeScript unless you have the need for it. Like me now, if I'm teaching, I'll go with JavaScript. But if I want to build a project, I will go with TypeScript. Because I don't want a situation where I have built the project, I have taken my time, project code base has become very large, and I start seeing break in my code base, break here and there. So I use TypeScript. And I even set strict rules. Like my TypeScript is very, very, very strict. That the moment I'm writing one thing, it will just throw up errors and the whole thing breaks immediately if it's on auto save. So you can keep yours very simple. You don't have to define variable types and all of that. So finally, the second part is the RESTful CRUD. What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? It is called. I forgot what I called it. Let me check if it's this one. Open. I want to open the authentication. This is complete authentication. I don't know which of them it is. Full man authentication. Okay, this is the front end, the full stack authentication. I don't think you need this one. You're only working on the back end. I have the backend. I want to find the authentication for backend. It has both the refresh tokens. I know some persons have been asking for it. This is 4 years ago. Let me check what is it, the controllers, the Auth controllers. This is to handle errors, create the token, module.export. I don't think this is mine. No, 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 it's not this one. This is not this one. Close this one. Complete TypeScript. This is the back end. So this one is full stack, front end and back end. And I think the back end is updated, but it's still 4 years ago. Auth.ts user model to find one for the email and the interface. Yes, this is updated. Let's confirm. I don't think it's this one. I don't think it's this one. Which one is this? Complete Auth. Let me check this one. Controllers. Okay. So I'm looking for that authentication. Yeah, this is it. It has the register, the activation email, the get access token, forgot password, reset password, get user info, get all users, the logout, the update user role, delete user, the Google login, Facebook login, and also has the validation and all of that. So this is the this is it. This is the one I was meant to show you. So the other one, I think basically everybody knows what CRUD is, but let me get it for you. RESTful API, basic. In case you want to use it, I'm going to share the links to both of them. For those who are asking for refresh token, I have it here. You'll get to see how to use it. And the funny thing is, I remember when I was looking for it to build this project, I asked a lot of persons. Nobody had to show me anything. It was somebody on LinkedIn, I mean on Twitter, that said nobody is going to show you anything because most of them, those things are real life projects. They're not going to share it with you. So these are the two repos. For the authentication, of course, you already know what to expect. Even though it is TypeScript, this folder, you don't need it. This folder is the front end. It's a complete full stack. You don't need this. So you're only concerned from controllers, middleware, these ones, and that one. So let's go to the models. The model has the user model. And even though it is, I think this is pure JavaScript. So the name, the mail, the password, their role. So here we're using numbers for roles, but you can use your text. You don't have to. And then the avatar. Yeah, this is the name of the guy that gave me this Deviant now. All right. So back here, the most important thing is in the controllers. controllers. Let's walk through. There's a send email stuff. I know I've talked about that. There's a function to upload images to Cloudinary. Now, these days, we don't do this. Uploading images to Cloudinary, we don't do it here. Rather, the front end uploads the images and sends you a URL. So we don't do this anymore. But if it's something you want to do, you can keep it and use it. The most important thing is the controllers. For the controllers, we have the register. The register is simple: collect the user's name, their email, and their password. Then validate the fields that they are sending in, all fields. Validate their email. They try to find the user with that email. If you don't find the user, return. Validate their password to be greater than 6 characters. Hash their password 12 times. Then create a new user object. Here you generate an activation token. So generate an activation token, attach it to the URL of the website, and send it as an email to the user. So this is how we basically, now even though this code is old, this is exactly what we still do till today. The only difference is I might break it into services. There will be services. I might break it into utilities. That maybe these 3 lines is going to be utilities, but everything is in one file here. These validations, I'm going to put them in middleware, this one and this one. Put it in the middleware. You understand? So I can break these files into 3 parts and share it. But for this code base, everything is written in one file. That's for the registration. The activation is simple. The front end is going to send you that activation code in the request body. You use JWT to verify that activation code, that you're the one that generated it. You pick out the user's name and email from the activation code, because when you were generating the activation code, you passed in the user's name. I think there's a function I have called CRUD Activation Code here. And so you can get the user's information from there, find the user to check if they already exist. If they don't exist, you create a new user object and you see the user. So this is how activation works. And like I said, even though this code base is old, this is pretty much what we do today. The only difference is I can break it down to services and then utilities. I can put this into utilities. I put this one into services, like that. So keep the remaining ones inside the controller to break into 3 parts, like that. But it's pretty much the same thing. Here I'm not returning a status code, but you know status codes. And there is for login. Login, you try to get the email and the password. You find the user. If you don't find them, you return an error message. You compare their password with bcrypt. If it doesn't match, you return an error message. You generate a refresh token and you save the refresh token in the cookies. Now, if you save this refresh token in the cookies and you attach this line, HTTP, like this, the user, the front end will not see this token. Only the back end will see this token. So this part here becomes an endpoint you will build. So the moment you save this token with an endpoint, it means that anytime the front end wants a new access token, they should hit this endpoint, /user /refresh token. Then this, we're going to talk about that. This will be the endpoint you will create for your refresh token, so that you get How do you save the cookies? You don't save the cookies. This is how you save cookies in backend. You're not, although let's go to package.json file. In the package.json file, you have to install what we call cookie passer, because you want to pass in the refresh token and the cookies. So if I go to package.json, so that is cookie passer. Cookie passer is a dependency that you use to pass in your refresh token. Not just refresh token, you can pass in the access token there too if you want, but you have the privilege of keeping it hidden. Only you get to see it. That is the refresh token. We use this cookie passer for that. And if you add it, you have to come to your index file, your main file, which is the server.js, maybe index.js or app.js, and you have to bring in cookie passer the first time, and you also need to enable the app to use cookie passer. So if it is using cookie passer, now you can attach your refresh token to the cookies, and you can also add let me come here. So if you install the cookies and you set the app to use cookies, you can save this. This is cookie. You are saving the name as refresh token, and you are saving the data as this refresh token that is generated here. So this thing here is this one here. Why this is the name that you refer to it by, and you are attaching an extra object for a few things. You say HTTP only, it means the users the front end will not see it, but if the front end wants to get a new access token, they should hit this endpoint, and this cookie should expire after 7 days. Like this is 7 times 24 hours, 60 times 60 minutes for 7 days. So this is the part where refresh token starts. So when and in what types of project do engineers use optimization, like those in taxletical things that like searching algorithms, big O, whatever you don't know, don't worry about it unless it is time to use it. Now, how you will know it is time to use it is when you are trying to do something, you begin to figure out, how do I do this? How do I implement this? It is in your implementation that you talk about this. Now, I've built projects. One of the projects I built was actually published in Fox News. Was it yesterday or day before? In Dubai. I have not used this thing you're talking about now. I have not done it myself. Maybe I have, but not in this way. So it doesn't matter what you are seeing people do. What you see people do is fine. If you learn that approach, it's fine. But keep building what you know how to build. Whatever you don't know how to build, you find a way to build it. It is in that process you learn new things. Yeah, go ahead, ask your question. Ask your questions. So there is a forgot password. I want to believe we have done forgot password. You accept their email, find the user. If you don't find them, return. Generate a new access token, attach it to the URL, and send it to their email like that. So that is for forgot password. And for the reset password, you accept their password, you hash the password, you find the user, you get. Now this is the part where some persons were making mistakes in the project. You are sending request.user.id. Now this user.id, it means that I already know that there is an ID in the user because I am the one that hashed the password, and I added an ID to hash the password. By the time it comes to the middleware, we are validating the user token. I already know that in that token there is an ID. When I come to the controllers to pick the ID, I know it is called ID, but some persons are calling it sender ID. Did you hash the password with sender ID? Did you hash the password with user.sender ID? Like, there are some things that I saw in the project, but it's fine. It means that at least you have an idea. That's the problem, because a lot of persons have an idea, but they don't actually know what is going on. Here I am trying to pick out the ID in a request.user because I know that I set request.user. So if you are trying to pick out request.agent, it means that you are the one that added it in your middleware. You added request.agent to be equal to the user that you got from the token. Now, we are talking now because I want to believe we are all programmers here. You understand what I'm talking about. So when I mention middleware, mention token, sender ID, request ID, I want to believe you are not entirely lost. But if you are lost, I'm going to pause. All right, just breathe in, breathe in. That is, the backend is very simple. For some persons who said they wanted to build a fintech, I had this student. There were only two of them. He has gotten two internship. He's actually inside. He's building. What is it called again? What is the name of hacker team? They're also the hacker team. He's building their backend for them. The project I give, I might share one project for this student, one project for this student. He will work on both of them and finish both of them on time, like finish it on time and submit only one. Now, if I say work on real estate, but you want to work on fintech, now there's nothing stopping you from working on fintech, but work on the real estate first. You can go back and work on the fintech. The thing about coding is you are going to get exhausted. There are some things that you don't want to do. You don't want to do it. But because you are at the back end, yes, you are in control, but there are things that you don't want to do, but you have to do it. Because if you don't do it, nobody will do it. Nobody. You have to do it. Yes, which were what was an eliminated question done? Wait. Which we were 11 and question was used to eliminate as an elimination method. Okay, one of the question the interviewer focused on was the migration of database, which many failed it. Okay, okay. So are there different database migrations? Are there different database? Of course, now the thing is the keyword migrations can actually mean moving from one database to another. That's one. Migrations can also mean adding data. So it depends on the context where you are asking database migration. But the truth, one thing I've come to learn is that whatever question they ask you, whether that is the right answer, whether it is not the right answer, answer with confidence. Just answer with confidence first. Let them tell you that is not what we're talking about. Yes. Updating the current, like manually with the function. It can be manual, it can be with the controllers. I use the controllers for that. If I already have data on the database and the data is not complete and I'm attaching new keys to the schema, I can run a migration. That's another keyword for migration. Like migration may have different keywords. What is memory leak? and how can we fix it? That also an interview. Now, how can you fix it? I just wish I would remember that answer very soon, but we will. We will. I think this is a key question they ask a lot of persons. Yeah, I think it's a key question they ask a lot of persons. It may not only be in C, but again, it's all good. So I want to believe the way we are asking questions now, it means everything I want to show you in this repo, you know them, you understand the reset password, how to get user information, removing the password. You understand this one, getting all the users, removing their passwords. You understand this one. Now, this is where, yes, I'm recording. So this is where the login comes, logout rather. I don't think we treated logout. Logout doesn't do anything much. What it does is actually to remove that token you saved on the cookies. That's what logout does for the backend. Logout doesn't do anything on the backend except if you added a refresh token on the cookies, you remove it. That's what logout does. So, but for the front end, they handle the logout, redirect the user to the home page, and all of that. But for the back end, you just delete the cookies, and it's all good. So you can either delete the refresh token or just clear the cookie entirely like that, and the user is logged out. And you can update the user. I know we talked about updating anything on the database, updating the user role. You can also update the user role, maybe change the user from an agent to admin. Okay, it's good. I think we have grown. We've all grown gradually. This is how you delete a user. I know we already have this to delete the user. The part where we didn't treat is this Google login. And Google login is not that simple, but it's also simple because